Southside Virginia is world famous for its tobacco crop, and that is still an important commodity in the region. Raising cattle has also been important for area farmers, but in the past decade, the cattle business has been growing faster than any other sector. The Census of Agriculture reports that there are one-third more cattle in Pittsylvania County now than a decade ago. Ronnie Waller has seen a lot of that change. He's been farming tobacco in Halifax County since 1973, as well as building his cattle herd since the early 80s.
We're 30 miles from Danville, 30 miles from Lynchburg, 100 miles from Richmond, so we're a little in a forgotten part of the state. But the cattle still fit in.
Cattle, historically for the county, has been a great parallel with tobacco farming. You know, when we had such large acreages down here, you know, and you had farms that had smaller amounts of tobacco, but yet they had a large land to do with something else with. So the natural segue was to put in cattle. And that trend has kind of held over the time.
Waller's daughter, Blair, is the next generation to run cattle on their farm. She says the two commodities complement each other on the calendar, which makes it easier to diversify their farm operations.
I think the biggest thing with us is with the tobacco season. You stay really busy during the summer. Usually with cows during the summer, they're good. You might have to feed hay every now and then, but for the most part, they're good. And then when the off season is when you do most of your work with the cattle, with their calving season. And especially with the prices recently, they've been really good.
One reason the cattle sector is doing well here is farmers took steps years ago to reduce shipping costs and offer better deals to out-of-state buyers.
And headquartered here in Halifax County, we have the Southern Virginia Beef Alliance. It does cover several counties surrounding Halifax, but they have come together, the producers, and they commingle their loads. They do natural and regular cattle, and that's an avenue to go, but you have to follow their steps. So it's very important, but they are getting premium pricing in many instances over and above what you could get going to a regular market.
Kimley Blanks, Halifax County Agricultural Marketing Director, says producers and local government leaders also want to see a USDA-licensed meat processing plant built in her county. That effort has been gaining steam in the past few years. One of the newest cattlemen who could benefit from that plant is Hunter Johnson, who just bought his 75-acre farm in 2014. Hunter grew up on a nearby cattle farm and has a passion for the animals. And that means understanding how to make a profit in the business.
Certainly when you get started in the cattle industry, their cash flow is always something that you need to keep in mind, because when you first invest in a group of cows, there's going to be some time before you will see a return on your investment. It's a long-term investment, and I realize that, and I certainly don't plan to leave. I plan to be here and hopefully continue to grow in the cattle industry and make myself known.
With consumer demand for more locally raised foods and meats growing, and the obvious pride Southside cattlemen take in their craft, it's clear the future is bright here for the cattle industry. In Pittsylvania County, Virginia, this is Dave Miller.